This is our first CSS tutorial. In this lecture, I will tell you about what is CSS, why do we use it, and what is benefit, how we can make a website using CSS. So let's make structure for it. First, this is our folder where we're going to make our project. Just make index.html here, index.html. Open this in VSCode. As you can see, here is our index.html. Make a folder in it, make folder name CSS. Make a file in this folder, name it style.css. This is a convention all of the programmers use. Make sure you put your CSS file in CSS folder. How it looks like in File Explorer? Here it is. It is our index file, and this is CSS folder, and here is our CSS file. So basically the question is, what is CSS? Well, the full form of CSS is Cascade Style Sheet. Cascade Style Sheets. What do they do? Basically, CSS is used to give a beauty and a look to our HTML tags. On their own, HTML tags doesn't look so good. So we need colors, we need different type of fonts, we need many things when we make our website. So that's why we use CSS. Okay, so before get started, as you can see, this is our CSS file. Let's open it. Okay, now we have to link this CSS file into our index.html. So how do we do that? It's pretty easy, because we have to link the CSS file into index.html. So the index.html read the properties we give into CSS and apply it and use it in browser. So how do we do that? In head tag, after title, type link, press tab. In the href, means hyperreference, it's an attribute, hyperreference, where we will tell where our CSS file is located. As you can see, it is in CSS folder. Just type CSS here, put slash, and here is our style.css file. Pretty easy. Okay, now our CSS file is linked. Now let's make a tag. I have made h1 tag. Okay, before that, change its title. It's not necessary, I'm just changing it so it looks good. Learning CSS. Sorry for that. Okay, now in h1 tag I will put this is a title, just a simple text. Okay, save it and let's run it. As you can see, this is a title. Now we will use CSS to make it looks good and aesthetic. Okay, let's go to CSS file. Now the index and CSS file both are linked with each other. Now before get started, one more thing I want to mention. There are three types of selectors in CSS. What is selectors? When we have to select any tag, then we use selectors. There are three types of selectors. The first selector is tag selector. The second is class selector. The third is ID selector. These are the main types of selector we're going to use in our CSS. So let's get started. Let's first we'll talk about tag selector. So we have to select tag directly to make it work. Like, I'm gonna give a background color to this h1, so I will say h1 in my style.css, like this, h1. Now put curly braces, press enter. As you can see, h1 is selected. Now we'll type, there are many properties in the CSS, like changing font size, font weight, color, background, border. There are many properties. let's talk about basics one. Let's change its font size first. So I will type font size. So how will give font size? You can give it in pixels. Like, let's experiment it. I will type 50 pixels. Save it. Go to my Chrome, refresh it. As you can see, it's bigger now. Okay, make it more bigger. Let's type 100 pixels. Refresh it, and here is our H1. Now it's look big. Now let's change its color. How do we do that? We'll type color and choose any of these colors. You can also make your own color. Just type #FFF here and hover it. When you place your cursor here, you will see this. Now you can choose any of the color. Like I'm going to choose this color, and here it is. Okay, let's save it. Go my Chrome, refresh it. As you can see, the color of our H1 is changed now. Okay, now let's make another tag. Let's make p tag. I will type something here. This is a paragraph tag. Hi, how are you? Save it. Now, okay, now let's select the p tag because it's p tag now. We'll use tag selector again. Let's select p tag now. Now we'll type background. So basically you don't have to type background. There are two properties. One is background, the second one is background color. The both are basically same. Do use background property, don't use background color property. It's more modern and have more uses than background color. Now we'll type color. So I will type FFF, and it is basically white color hex code. This is called hex code. Now let's change it. Okay, now change it. Actually the upper color is in RGB, red, green, blue. So let's change it hash color. Okay, now it's look good. Okay, now I'll change this. Let's make it a light blue color like this. Save it, and if I refresh it, this will be changed. And as you can see, the light background color has been applied to our p tag. Let's change its front color. So make sure you can change the front color with color property and background color with background property. Don't confuse between them. Let's give it a bright color. I will say orange red this time. Refresh it. As you can see, now I've shown you that how we can use tag selector. Basically these two, sorry about that, these two are selected using tag selector. Now we will use class selector. This is the most used selector in the CSS. Probability 99% we use this selector. There is a reason behind this. Okay, now we'll see what is the problem if we don't use it. Let's make a h1 tag again. Let's make a h1 tag again. I will type hello world. Now if we go here and refresh it, it looks same as this, but I want to give him its different properties like different color, different font size. How I can do that? Because they both are h1. So here comes the classes. So classes are the special attributes we can put inside opening tag. What are the opening tags? These are the opening tags like this. Now I will give the class to them. Like to this, I will type here in between here, give space, type class and give it a name like my heading, like this. Now we can access this class in the CSS using class selector. How we can use class selector? Press dot, type the class name we given here, my heading, like this. Now we can change the properties to that tag. Like I want to give font size of 20 pixel. Let's make it very smaller, and let's give color of purple. Okay, let's try it. Now if I refresh it, it will be changed. See, okay, that's changed now. So this is the class selector. So let's convert these tags into classes. So I will give a class into the first heading. I will say my first heading. You can give whatever name to the class. Now type here PARA, short for paragraph. I have gave classes to the three of them. Let's make these two same. Okay, yeah, so they look same. Let's remove them. Now we'll use class selector. Like I will say para now, the font size of 20 pixel, the color of hash 555. It's dark gray color, medium gray you can say. And let's make heading little bigger. Now if I refresh it, it will be changed. Oh, you can see that. So let me repeat that again. We have two h1 tags. We give them two classes with the same name. I mean a single class called my heading to both of them, and para class to our p tag. Okay, now we use these in the CSS to make it work. Make sure you type this dot to make it class selector, otherwise it won't work. Let me show you. If I remove this in front of it, it will become tag selector, and this type of tag doesn't exist. And if I refresh it, it will be the same again. So don't forget the dot. Yeah. Okay, we'll talk about tag selector, the ID selector later, because it's not that important. Class selector is more important than it. Let's see how much. Okay, 30 minutes. Okay, now we'll change some font properties. Now let's make text decoration. So this is the property we can use to give different decorations to the text. Like if I refresh it, they both will get underlined like this. The property is applied again, obviously. Now if I want to give it a border, before I tell you what border is, let me tell you there are two types of properties. One are normal properties, the second one are shorthand properties. Shorthand properties, when we give the 2 or 3 properties or 4 properties into one, like border. How much width of border I want? I want 1 pixel border. The type of border, I will say solid. There are 3 types: solid, dashed, and dotted. So we will use solid. And color, let's say maroon. Okay, this is called shorthand property. Why? We gave 3 things to it. As you can see, it is written shorthand property for setting border width, style, and color. 1 pixel is width, solid is style, and this is color. Let's see again. As you can see, the border has been applied. Now let's separate these two headings. I will give the second one a different class, my heading 2. Okay, now I will make a class again, my heading 2, and save it. Let's refresh it. It's changed because I changed the class of it, and I will give it a color here. Let's say green. Okay, refresh it. As you can see, now I want to make sure that this class, I want to place this text into the center, like here at this place. So how I will do that? There is property we call text align. It aligns our text to left, right, or center. There's no use of text align left, it is already left, so we'll type center. Refresh it, and now it is in center. Okay, we'll cover next topics in the next video. Thank you.